Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure to... I'm just kidding. You didn't miss anything. I'm just starting out. Just messing with you. 04... This mirror's got a sheetrock screw holding it in. Alright, forget it. I'm sorry, I got distracted. This is... Look. There's a sheetrock screw holding the mirror in, along with some kind of weird glue. 04 Honda Civic. Just finished doing a check engine light. Didn't realize it needs brakes, so I'm staying a little late because I got to get it out of here because I got a ton of work tomorrow. You coming with me? The pretty basic stuff. 12 on the caliper, 14 on the bracket. I'm going to push the calipers back in. I'm going to pop them screws out. I get to try out my new screwdrivers recommended by Mike, Flat Rate Master. Awesome screwdriver, by the way. I'll show it to you in a second. And that's that. Oh. There goes the phone. Try this again. That'll probably interrupt us again. Where was I? Interruptions. 12. I think I said 14. It's a 17. No big deal. We're gonna give it a little bit. We're gonna give it a little bit of a push. Just a little bit, so we can get that off of there. 'Cause I'm sure there's a lip on it. That's the one. Oh, we're going to hold that one. What I was going to say is, a little wrench on that baby right there. And then, there you go. Nice. Make sure to support the caliper. Don't let it swing. Oh, I think it needs brakes. What do you think? And of course it was, hey buddy, you need brakes. Do I? Yes. Yes you do. Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Cool. New hardware. They make the really nice caliper hangers. Only a couple of dollars, I think, on Amazon, wherever you can get them. Me, I'm cheap. I took brake line and bent it so I can hang my caliper. Hang my caliper. Like that. Like that. What else can I tell you that you haven't heard already? Take them out, take that baby off. Make sure you check your pins. Take them apart. Don't just push them in and out and let them fly. Take the pin out of there. Clean that junk up. Usually you can take these rubbers and pop them out. Make sure, see that? And then you can clean them if need be. Lubricate them. All that fun stuff. Remember which one, see a pin with the rubber? There's only one of those. The other one ain't gonna have that. The other one, it's got no rubber. So remember which end your rubber goes on. Now, check this out. I'm going to move this around. Yep. The screw. I can't see because the light ain't hitting it. How's that? Is that better? Vessel. It's upside down. Did that come out? Vessel. Mike, thank you. Flat Rate Master recommended these. I picked them up. They're like $12, $13 each. The impact, they got a little spring loaded in them like a regular impact hammer, impact driver would have. But you know, it kind of works as a regular screwdriver. The other one is kind of big and bulky. They're good for breaking the nuts loose, and then you kind of put it away. But these things are pretty awesome. I like it. There you go. I'm going to drop my flashlight. How's that? Better? I'm swinging at a weird angle because I got the camera here so you guys can see. Not how I normally do this. There you go. Awesome little screwdriver. I got the two different sizes, like the number 2, I guess, and number 3 equivalent. That works out real well. Nice ear-piercing squeal so all the dogs in the neighborhood hear it. Oh, right off. Make sure this is clean. If there's any question, clean it. Here's another quick tip. Here's another quick tip for you. Little die grinder with the this is the little Scotch lock pad for getting around the studs. And then you'd have to change it. So you can put your little abrasive disc on, or your stone grinder, depending what you're using. I got tired of switching the bits, so I went to Harbor Freight and picked up a couple of them. So now I got 3. Hang them on the wall, and I'm doing a brake job, pull all 3 off. I ain't gotta spend waste time switching the bits over. That's my story. That's my tip for the day. Same old story. Make sure you clean up the slides real good. Don't just put them in a wire wheel and polish the rust. You got to get the rust out of there. Whether it be, if you have a little sandblast cabinet, that's awesome. Wire wheel it if it comes off. If not, got a little stone on here. No, I'm not taking gobs of metal out. I'm just taking the rust out. You know, be diligent. Don't just sit there and grind away at it and now you got to go buy a caliper bracket. We're just looking to take the rust out. A file. A couple ways you can do it. Just make sure it's clean. Wash it down. And then grease it. I put grease under the slide. If you have time to paint it, that's awesome. But you don't want to have this rust up and rust jacket. We call it rust jacking, right? You put the new clip on, the rust builds between the caliper bracket and then the new clip, and it pushes the clip out and squeezes the pad when we don't want to. It jams the pad so it doesn't slide in and out anymore. If that doesn't make any sense, well, here's the old pad. It's in the right angle. Right? We want this to go this way. We want this to go in and out. In here, right? Here's a better angle. You want this to slide in and out. You know, clean it up and get a good fit. When we're done, this should slide in here with just a little bit of pressure. You don't want to have to tap it in. For God's sakes, if you got to tap the pad in, something's wrong, take it back out and do it again. You'll see what I mean when I get the new clips on. If the holes are gummed out, listen to me. If they got junk in them and they're jammed, and it's got nasties in there. Let me do this a little different. Here we go. And it's got all nasties in there, and you can't get the pin in and out. I got little bottle brushes. I get it on my drill. I remin it in and out, wash it out. If they're moving, at least re-grease them. Don't pack them, because then the pin won't be able to go all the way in. It'll keep pushing the pin out. All right, so just sometimes I won't even grease the inside of this. I'll just grease the pin. Either way, and only a synthetic-based caliper grease or something equivalent. Don't use something that's gonna. Don't use a grease that's gonna thicken up and jack the pin and jam it up again. That'd be pretty stupid. It's getting late. A lot of hours, no sleep, and I'm rambling. If the pin looks all snotty, take it to the wire wheel, clean it up, or replace them, right? Also, make sure this little groove down in here, that's where that rubber boot is going to sit. Make sure you get that clean too. If it's got, both of these are actually clean. But if not, I take the wire wheel to that and clean that little rubber groove, so when the boot sits on there, did I say rubber groove? The metal groove, so when the rubber boot sits on there, it makes a nice airtight seal so we don't get all water in the hole of the caliper. And again, it'll lock up and you'll get a pad wearing crooked like the one that came off. Put a little grease on the pin. Put a little more grease on the pin. This one's blue grease. I like blue. No, it has nothing to do with the color. I like the grease, not the color. That one goes there. Whee! That one goes here. If there is a little too much grease in there and it gets bound up and it's pushing the pin back out, a lot of times you just grab it with a pair of channel locks and just hold it for a second. The air will burp its way out. You'll get a little, and then the pin will settle in place. This is what I meant about making sure that boot fits on the pin, right like that. Makes a nice tight seal. So you keep the water out of there. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Almost. Are we there yet? 20 minutes. Here's a good trick for you. If you got kids and you're on a trip and they keep saying, are we there yet? Tell them 20 minutes. Here's why. If you tell them 5, they remember 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes they'll be going, well, you said 5 minutes and we ain't there. If you tell them an hour, they'll complain, oh my God, it's forever. But if you tell them 20 minutes, it's just long enough that they say, oh, well, that's not too bad. And then they forget. And like an hour later they go, they just said 20 minutes. You go, yeah. Yeah, like 18 minutes now. It works. Until they get older and then they catch on. New clips are in place. I grease them. You don't have to. It's a debate. Some people say it's stainless steel. You shouldn't have to. I don't know. My OCD kicks in. I like to put a little coat of grease on them. Nothing crazy. I don't want to get them splashing up and getting on the... I don't really mean splash, but I don't want them getting on the rotor. So just a really light coat. Still can't get it. SMA fans don't know what I mean. Right. Clean the new rotor up. Get that layer of Cosmoline or whatever it is off of it. I sprayed the flange with a fluid film type product. Hopefully it doesn't rust. Line my holes back up. Ta-da! Get my cool little screwdriver. think I bent the head on this screwdriver. On the screw, I mean. Huh. These are assembly screws. Argument is, do you really need to put them back on? The answer is really no. The wheel will hold it on. But it does make it easier to do the brake job. And they don't flop around every time you take the wheel off. That's that. Another trick is you can put the pads in the caliper bracket before you put it on. That works well sometimes. Sometimes they just slide back out. There's other tricks. You'll see in some other videos about different ways guys do it. None of it's really wrong. Biggest part of this is make sure it's clean, make sure it's greased. Don't be a pad slapper. That's the guy that cranks the caliper back and throws the pads out and goes and puts the new pads in and puts the caliper back down. Don't be that guy. If you don't know where the clip goes, refer to the instructions. It's usually a pretty safe bet, usually, most of the time. Don't say always and never. Most of the time, what you want to do is when you put the pad in place, you want to push the clip. Don't pull it. So if the wheel, what I mean by that is the wheel is going this way, I want to be pushing up on the clip. I think it's supposed to make more noise that way. And that's its purpose, right? To make noise, to let you know you're low. If you pull the clip, if your clip is up here, the wheel's going away from it, and it's pulling the clip away from the pad, it doesn't tend to make as much noise. I believe on most cars, you can fit them in either way. So, this one, let me see. That's how the old pad was in. The old clip was on the bottom inboard pad, which meant it was pushing up on it. And this one looks like the rotor was hitting it and making a horrible noise. And the owner didn't seem to mind. I think he knew, because when I mentioned he needed brakes, he went, "Oh yeah!" Like, I think he knew. So. There you go. Good piece of my glove in there. And that's what I mean by, see where the pad fits? It's not loose, it's not going up and down, but I can move it in and out. It needs to go this in and out when the caliper squeezes and releases, it needs to come off. It needs to wear evenly. So you gotta make sure this is, see that? That's what we're talking about. If you guys see it and tap it in with a hammer, stop. Just stop. Don't forget to take your caliper hanger off. Don't leave it up there. Because, you know, I've never done that. Here's another tip. Before you compress the caliper, if you need to clean the face here, this little edge of the caliper piston, now's the time before you push it in. Because once you push it in, you're going to be fighting this rubber, and you don't want to rip the rubber. So right now it's pushed all the way out, a little away from the rubber. Now's a good time to clean it if it needs it. This one's pretty good. Surprisingly, the ears are pretty good too. But now's the time. And then go ahead and push it in. You'll see what I mean. You can see you got like a lot of distance between the edge of the piston and the rubber. So now's a good time to get in there and clean that. What I'll do sometimes is, and I'll show you, even though it's clean, I will get in here with my little die grinder. It fits right in there. I'm not looking to take metal off of it. I just want to get it clean. A little brake clean. That'd be ridiculous, but get the rust off. Right? There it is. You can make sure you find your 32-year-old caliper compressing tool. You gotta be as old as me to have one. Don't forget to take fluid out of the caliper before you start. I should have started with that, sorry. Sometimes there's room in the caliper, you take the cap off just so it'll push back up. Don't let it overflow all over everything. Get in there with a little suction device and pull a little bit out. Whatever you gotta do. Make sure the caliper collapses nicely. If you gotta sit here and muscle into this thing, something's wrong. You should almost be able to do this with your fingers. In fact, I have sometimes. You just take them a couple thumbs and get in there and squeeze, and you should be able to do that. It's, you know, on the small calipers. My point is, if you got to muscle them in, there's something wrong. That makes sense? I know, it's late. He's rambling again. Dude, shut up. Finish the brake job. You can grease the two ears and the caliper, edge of the caliper, or you can just hit the back of the pads. I usually hit the back of the pad. I'm a back of the pad kind of guy. A little bit like that. A little bit like that. Take this baby like this. Alright, nice. Sorry, I got no jokes for you tonight. I'm so behind schedule. One bad thing about vacation, right? You gotta come back and the work is waiting for you. And that is that. New pads, new clips, new rotor, and that side is done. How's that, better? Look, after. And that, my friends, is a, what am I working on? 2004 Honda Civic front brake pads. Simple enough, nothing crazy, pretty standard. Just thought I'd bring you along. Maybe you can catch on to something that you never saw before. And that's my final tip. You watch some of these videos. I watch, you know, all the regular guys that we all watch. One, I like to support the channel, and two, even after 33 years, I'm not ashamed to say it, I pick stuff up I've never seen before. And so, you know, people look at, oh, it's another brake job, but you may see something go, I never thought of doing it, never thought about doing it that way. Case in point was this Roloc tool. Before I saw Eric use it up at South Main, I had never seen it before. I asked everybody around here that I know, and they never saw it before. My tool guy didn't even carry it. So, I'm doing this a long time. You'd think I would have seen everything. I don't. So, be humble. Take the help when you can get it. If you have something to offer, offer it. Don't be ashamed to ask. Be humble. Be safe. Have some fun. Thanks for stopping in. I gotta be busy. I got the other side to do. It's a lot like this side. Just the opposite. And then hopefully I can call it quits for the day. Quits for the day. Tongue-tied. Guys, thanks again. Have a great night.